Rebecca Riley, and I'm the Systems Change Lead for the Fulfilling Lives South East Partnership, and I'll be co-presenting today's webinar with colleagues from across the team. We want to be open, honest, and reflective with you to share our learning of trying to effect systems changes across Brighton and Hove and East Sussex. In today's events, we will set out the highlights from our Systems Change companion reports called Ripple Effect to share our perspectives of how we can instigate, nurture, and achieve systems changes. We will draw out how we put systems change theory and thinking into practice and look at examples of systems developments in the following thematic areas: health inequalities, domestic abuse and complex needs, criminal justice and repeat offending, treatment pathways and coexisting conditions, unsupported temporary accommodation, and repeat removals of children into the care system. So what is Fulfilling Lives South East? Some of you may not be as familiar as others to our work, and sort of why are we here? The Fulfilling Lives South East project emerged from a growing concern that support systems and structures were not serving some of the most vulnerable members of our communities. Lankelly Chase's groundbreaking report, Hard Edges, helped to build a more comprehensive picture of the intersecting needs of people experiencing multiple disadvantage. In 2014, the National Lottery Community Fund launched a national programme of investment across England to do three things. The first is provide intensive support for people experiencing multiple disadvantage. The second, to involve people with lived experience of multiple disadvantage at all levels. And the third, challenge and change systems that negatively affect people facing multiple disadvantage. And these have been the three overarching national goals that our local project have worked to. So at a local level, the Fulfilling Lives South East project is one of 12 partnerships of local organisations working together to improve services for people with multiple and complex needs. We've been based in Brighton and Hove, Eastbourne and Hastings, and we have supported people with multiple and complex needs directly in these three locations with small service delivery teams working to an assertive outreach approach and using trauma-informed practice to engage and support individuals. We supported 118 clients from 2014 to 2021. As well as supporting people directly, we have advocated for more effective and efficient ways for designing, commissioning and delivering support services for this group for the future. The work of the project has been informed and directed by people with lived experience of multiple and complex needs, working within our staff team, supporting volunteers with lived experiences to engage and have a voice in our project and inform it, to help us identify needs and solutions, and also being involved at strategic and operational levels to take forward systems change efforts. We have conducted social research and collected data from our support work and also from feedback from those with lived experience of support systems, and used this learning from those voices to inform and influence change in systems and services. So why specifically Sussex? Why did Fulfilling Lives South East receive this investment from the National Lottery back in 2014? Well, it was in recognition of the fact that there was a higher proportion of people here with multiple and complex needs than in neighbouring boroughs and counties. There was very much a population group that needed to be better served by services and support systems here. And that's why Fulfilling Lives South East operated here locally.
So I'm Sandra Sylvester, Systems Change Officer at Fulfilling Lives South East, and I'd now like to talk about our systems change journey. So in 2014, Fulfilling Lives South East Partnership begins. Brighton Housing Trust is awarded the lead role in the Fulfilling Lives South East Partnership, the backing of over 70 organisations. The core group is established, made up of key individuals in relevant stakeholder organisations who would throughout the project continue to contribute to the direction of the project as it progressed. We began the project by partnership building, systems and services mapping, and recruiting volunteers. In 2015, frontline work begins. We now have 6 specialist workers across the project, each with small caseloads, with a focus on women with multiple and complex needs and dual diagnosis. And then service user panels were set up. These included staff and volunteers with lived experience of multiple and complex needs, and they gathered gaps and barriers in services to inform our systems change work. Between 2015 and 2019, we worked with partners to support them in better serving people experiencing multiple disadvantage in a trauma-informed, more coordinated way. We worked on systems change in each location, Eastbourne, Hastings and Brighton, service improvement officers and area leads directing the project work. We then reflected and weren't afraid to change the way we carried out systems change, and so we restructured into a cross-area systems change team in 2019. Between 2018 and 2019, all of our learning was funneled into 6 key themes that most needed our attention for the remainder of the project. And these were health inequalities, domestic abuse and multiple complex needs, criminal justice, co-occurring conditions or dual diagnosis, temporary accommodation and out-of-area placements, and repeat and removal of children. In 2019, our Manifesto for Change is published. This shared our findings from our frontline work and the voices from our service user engagement team that developed into commitments for change under each of the key themes, focusing on the areas highlighted in our work. Between 2019 and now, work started and continued on individual projects under each commitment for change to address these prioritised areas of work. So here we are in 2022, and our 2 impact reports have now been published. So these are an overview of systems change methods, which is Ripple Effect, the systems change principles and methods of Fulfilling Lives South East project, and a thematic report, Ripple Effect, the systems change impacts of Fulfilling Lives South East project. So moving on, we've learned so much in the 8 years of our project, but there is still so much to do. People experiencing multiple disadvantage are still facing barriers to receive the help and support they need when they need it, without the fear of being judged, or without being forced to make unsafe decisions, to return to an abusive partner, for example, if this is their only choice. There are so many amazing organisations striving to achieve change for this group of people, so it's time to hand over the baton to you. And with a pinch of joint commissioning and a huge spoonful of multi-agency working, change is possible. So we've had a look at our systems change journey, but what is systems change? Throughout our journey, we have learned that systems change for us aligns with the following definitions. From Forum for the Future, we believe that creating the change we want to see in the world will require a growing number of people to think and act more systematically. So we see systems change as both an outcome and a process. And from the National Lottery Community Fund, systems changes are changes to the people, organisations, policies, processes, cultures, beliefs and environment that make up the system, and that the changes are beneficial, sustainable in the long term, i.e. resilient to future shifts in the environment, and transformational. But they are not tokenistic. They are not doing the same thing under a different name, or overly reliant on key individuals. And they are not just flexing the system, for example, making a one-off exception, as this is not systems change in itself, although it is a good start, a good step towards sustainable systems change.
Hi everyone, I'm Eve and I'm also a systems change officer. So what do we mean by multiple and complex needs? Well, multiple and complex needs, also known as multiple disadvantage, are persistent, problematic and interrelated health and social care needs which impact an individual's life and their ability to function in society. Around 60,000 people in England experience multiple and complex needs, defined here as experiencing a combination of 2 or more of the following. So there's homelessness, substance or alcohol misuse, mental ill health and offending. And so these issues in the circles on the outside, so such as having physical ill health, experiencing other forms of abuse and having children removed into care are also common for this group. This not only affects their lives, but also leads to significant social and economic costs associated with a failure to effectively support them. And that's what the work of Fulfilling Lives aims to address, the need for systems and services that are more welcoming, responsive, flexible and coordinated for those with the most complex needs. So why is the definition important? We're wary of labels. We acknowledge that labelling has its limitations, but ultimately we think it's important because you can only offer enhanced support for a group if you can identify them, and having a clear definition allows for that. So when we started work, we noticed a worrying absence of references to people facing multiple and complex needs in local policies, procedures and strategies. People with ill-defined needs find it more difficult to engage with services and are often referred to as hard to reach. They fall through the gaps between services and systems because they are assessed on specific issues. So whilst they might not meet the threshold for one service, their overall need can be severe. And this makes it harder for them to address their problems. Additionally, they might become frustrated by a lack of services or the uncoordination of available services, and this frustration, when vented, can lead to them being deemed as difficult clients, often leading to further exclusion and disengagement from support and society. So a theme through our work has been naming and understanding what is meant by multiple and complex needs, and calling for greater inclusion of such terminology in service specifications, policies and strategies. Eradicating stigma is also a constant theme within the calls to action which have guided our work. And so now we're going to have a look at what does the system say versus what people with lived experience say. Looking at the stigma our clients experience, we asked people with lived experience of multiple and complex needs about times they felt a label had been put on them and what was really going on for them behind that label. So unreliable might be living in chaos, not caring, disassociated, withdrawn, tired, anxious, not confident, lazy, depressed and afraid. Disruptive could be distressed, aggressive, fearful, homeless, struggling to take care of myself, and one of them just going through stuff. So yeah, really the point of this is just to remember that the people that we work with may lack trust in services, they might feel hopeless sometimes about positive change for themselves, and they might have experiences where power has been taken away from them. They felt punished, not listened to, rejected or controlled, and they might have felt that they've had to battle against the system for survival.